How's it going, guys? What of course you'll be seeing today is a breakdown and review of the new PDW in Battlefield 4 as part of the new Weapons Crate DLC called the GROZA-4. It's a brand new weapon to Battlefield 4, and as usual what I'll do is break down the stats of the weapon, give you the best idea of range, fire mode, and attachments best suited for success. So what I'll do is of course show you the stats to paint a picture of the weapon immediately on the start. Max damage per round is 27 and the minimum is 15.4. The damage drop-off starts at 5 meters and ends at 43.67 meters. The fire rate at full auto is 700 rounds per minute at full auto and burst mode. The muzzle velocity is only 300 meters per second, but that's because it has a built-in suppressor attached. The bullet drop is more intense than the gravitational constant of the Earth at 15 meters per second squared, so the drop-off is significant per bullet. It has a magazine size of 21 and it fires a 9.39mm round. The reload speed is 3.75 seconds when completely empty and 2.9 seconds when there's a round left in the chamber, so it does have a pretty long reload time, something to be aware of in close quarters engagements. Now what I did for this review is I took the liberty of comparing this weapon to other weapons that are popular or similar. So overall, the recoil patterns of the GROZA-4 are actually quite manageable. It's listed at 0.31 in terms of the vertical recoil, which is actually lower when compared to the AS-VAL at 0.33 and the MPX at 0.36. The horizontal recoil is also manageable because it's listed at 0.15 to the left and 0.24 to the right, so it has a deviation in terms of the recoil. It wants to go to the right when you're not accounting for the recoil. But this is actually lower in both directions than the MPX and the AS-VAL, so they have a horizontal deviation more significant than the GROZA-4. The first shot recoil multiplier is actually listed at a superb 1.25, so it doesn't kick up much when you're shooting, and the spread increase per shot is listed at 0.091. It is the absolute clear best in terms of those two categories when compared to the MPX and the AS-VAL as well, so that's something to bear in mind. Those are the positives. Here's a potential knock. Because it's a PDW with a suppressor, obviously this is a weapon that should be used in short and maybe shorter medium range encounters and absolutely nothing further. It has a slow fire rate for a PDW, so that's a bit of a detriment when it comes to putting out max DPS in close quarter engagements compared to other PDWs. It has a staggeringly low muzzle velocity as well, so at range you'll experience extreme bullet drop-off and higher time to kill. Those are the big negatives associated with this weapon. But of course with the suppressor it's good because it'll keep you off the minimap on flanks, providing you have good positioning and good target acquisition. So there's not all negatives to it, but it's good to point out both the pros and the cons to a weapon, and you can judge whether or not you want to choose it or not. In terms of attachments, I always choose the red dot sight as my optic because it happens to be one, of course, that I have the most success with, but I wouldn't even equip a medium range sight on it anyway, because it's a PDW, it's close range, there's no reason to have a medium sight on it. Especially not with this weapon with the bullet drop off and damage drop off you'll experience quite quickly with it. For my accessory, I'd always choose the laser sight to keep myself alive in close quarter hip fire engagements, especially surprise engagements. To have that accuracy buff, it's never a bad thing. The barrel of choice, like I said, you only have the suppressor to choose from here. In terms of the underbarrel, I choose the ergo grip because it will reduce hip fire inaccuracy by 50%, so there's no point to use it considering that this is exactly what you'll be using it for. Close quarters hip fire engagements. Buff the strengths, don't try and make a weapon what it isn't. If you choose the potato grip, because you can of course make like aimed shots down sight more accurate, you'll encounter a 20% reduction in spread per shot, which isn't a bad option either, but you'll prefer to run and gun with this weapon, so I would personally choose the ergo grip, but it's up to you. So overall, this is a weapon that can be used effectively in close quarters engagements because of the extremely low recoil and well-balanced stats, but nothing further than that. Like I said, the cons to it in terms of being forced to use a suppressor, having a slower fire rate, having extreme damage drop-off occur quickly, and having your rounds drop extremely quickly as well, have this PDW a cause for concern. So to be blunt, I don't use PDWs much, but I might lean toward the MPX if I was going to choose a PDW. but that would be my choice. If you prefer suppressed weapons with the slower fire rate, lower damage model, you can choose like a slightly longer close quarters range engagement and just choose to stay stealthy and pick your targets, pick your moments. You can probably still have success. Have a good one.